So in this skill check, the question says which equation represents the second ionization energy of element X. Now, you're given four options. So how would I write the first ionization energy of element X? Let's do that first. Before we write before we find out the second ionization energy of element X. So the first ionization of element X is X becoming X plus plus electrons. Here X and X plus are both in the gaseous state. Another way to write the same equation would be basically X minus electrons to become X plus. So X minus electron becoming X plus. That's these two equations are identical. In one case you can write them losing electrons on the left hand side or losing electrons on the right hand side. It's the same. Plus electron on the right hand side is the same as minus electron on the left hand side. Both are equally correct equations. Both represent the first ionization energy of X. Now let's find the second IE. So the second IE would be when what? When 1 plus becomes 2 plus. That's option B. So when 0 becomes 1 plus is first IE. When 1 plus becomes 2 plus is second IE. Alright. Now let's look at the other options. Maybe we can recognize what the other options are. Let's start off from A. You see A is X becoming X2 plus gas plus 2 electrons. So it's really X becoming X plus and X plus becoming X2 plus. Which by the way is two reactions. X to X plus is first ionization energy and X plus to X2 plus is second ionization energy of X. So this overall change in A is the sum of first and second ionization energies. Now we look at C. C is actually X gaining 2 electrons. Yeah, it's the opposite of A and B. We're losing electrons. Now we'll study this idea in second year in more detail, but just to introduce you to this because you're seeing it right now. This is when X is gaining electrons. It's called electron affinity. And X can gain electron to become X minus, and X minus can gain electron to become X2 minus. So this is actually happening in two steps. So the first step is X becoming X minus. That's called the electron affinity of X. When X is becoming X1 minus. And X minus becoming X2 minus is the electron affinity of X minus. Because it's X to X minus and X minus to X2 minus. Now it's okay if you don't understand this right now. It's something we'll do later. So C is the sum of the electron affinity of X and the electron affinity of X minus. Electron affinity of X is when X loses electron. And electron affinity of X minus is when X minus loses an electron. And D is literally that. It's the electron affinity of X minus, where X minus is losing one electron to become X2 minus. So D is X minus to X2 minus. C is X to X minus to X2 minus. So C is X to X minus, which is electron affinity of X, plus this reaction. So C is basically first electron affinity of X plus D. But we'll do this a lot later, okay, in second years. It's A and B that I'm concerned about. Those are ionization energies. So let's look at the next question. This is a skill check 8. Write the following equations, or write the equation for the following ionization energies, including state symbols. They're asking for the first ionization energy of silicon, the second ionization of potassium, third ionization of carbon, and also asking for why do successive ionization energies always get more endothermic. So the first ionization of silicon is Si becoming Si plus E. So Si gas becoming Si plus gas plus E. Remember, all ionization energies are for gaseous atoms and ions. That's something that you have to remember. Second ionization of potassium is K plus becoming K2 plus. And third ionization of carbon would be carbon 2 plus becoming carbon 3 plus. So first is 0 becoming 1 plus, second is 1 plus becoming 2 plus, third is carbon 2 plus becoming carbon 3 plus and losing 1 electron. All of them are gaseous particles, all of them. Now let's look at part B. Why do successive ionization energies always get more endothermic? Regardless of them being from a different group or the same group, successive ionization energies will always be more endothermic, which means it will require more energy to remove the next electron. be it from the same shell or from a different shell. Now, once you lose an electron, to remove the next electron, you're going to require more energy. Why? Because there are going to be fewer electrons left in that particle. And when there are fewer electrons left, there will be less repulsion between the electrons. And when there's less repulsion between the electrons, the same nucleus is going to have a greater attraction for each electron. The net attraction for each electron will increase. The net attraction from where? From the nucleus, the protons in the nucleus. So regardless of electrons being removed from the same shell from a different shell, fewer electrons will mean that there is less electrons meaning less repulsion between electrons, which means greater attraction by the nucleus, therefore more energy required to remove it from the atom. Hence, ionization energies become more endothermic. So remember this, successive ionization energies are always going to be endothermic, greater in magnitude, because more energy required to lose the next electron, because fewer electrons are left, regardless of being a low closer to the nucleus shell or not. Anytime you lose electrons, the remaining electrons are going to be attracted more, because there will be less repulsion between the electrons, therefore greater nuclear attraction. Yeah. All right, let's look at the next question then, another skill check. This is, the first part is the successive ionization energies of beryllium are 900, 1757, 1489 and 21007. Beryllium is actually element number 4, atomic number 4. And so when you look at these successive ionization energies, you're going to look for the largest jump in these. And the largest jump is between 1700 and 14,000.
Quick pause. If you're finding value in this explanation, there's so much more to discover at Alt Academy, where we break down every A-level concept with the same clarity. Now back to the video lesson.
Right there. And so the first part says, why do successive ion energies of beryllium always get more endothermic? We just dissolved that in the previous part. It's because for successive ionization energies, there are fewer electrons being left in the atom. So fewer electrons means there's less repulsion. That means stronger attraction from the nucleus. Therefore, successive ionization energies always increase. There are fewer electrons being attracted by more protons in the nucleus. Less repulsion, greater attraction. Now let's take a look at the next part. There I want to know which group this element is from. Obviously, if you don't look at the periodic table, you got to use the evidence from it. So the evidence is you got to look for the largest jump. So what you realize is that this is the first, second, third and fourth ionization energies given. And you got to figure out where's the largest jump. It's clearly between the second and the third ionization energy. So because the jump is between the second and the third ionization energy, the third electron is being removed from a shell closer to the nucleus. That's the indication that the third electron that required 14,000 was in a shell closer to the nucleus. Therefore, the first two electrons were the outer electrons, which means there are two electrons in the outermost shell, which makes beryllium part of group 2. Let me repeat. The largest jump is between the second and the third ionization energies, indicating that the third electron is from a shell that is closer to the nucleus, therefore requiring much more energy, which means that the first two electrons were from the outer shell. If you have only two electrons in the outer shell, you are going to be from group number 2. And now let's look at another skill check. All right. Okay, so now let's deduce groups number for these elements X, Y, and Z. The first 6 ionization energies are given for X, Z, and Q, not X, Y, and Z. X, Z, and Q. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That doesn't mean that there are only 6 electrons in these atoms. It's just that they're given for the first 6. So for X, you're going to look for the largest jump in ionization energies. Where does it seem to be happening here for X? It's between the 6,000 and the 37,000. That's where the largest jump in ionization energies is. For Z, it's between 1400 and 7000. And for Q, it's between 9000 and 53,000. Largest jump here, largest jump there, largest jump there. Now I'm going to use this to find the group numbers. So for X, basically these are the outermost electrons. There are 4 outermost electrons. So X is in group 4. But group 4 is also now called group 14. That's the new name. You'll realize that anything that's in group 3 to 8 are also now called 13 to 18 because of the transition elements in between. So now what was group 4 is also now called group 14, group 5, group 15, group 6, group 16. All right. And now let's look at Z now. Z means there are only 2 electrons in the outermost shell because that's the big jump. So it must be group 2. All right. That's the largest jump right there. Again, the idea was that the third electron is from a shell closer to the nucleus, therefore outermost electrons are 2. In X, the fifth electron is from a shell closer to the nucleus, therefore the outer electrons are 4. That's how we figure this one out. And that's where the large jump is. That's where the large jump is for Z. And you're looking for the largest jump, by the way. That's what you're looking for. The largest jump in values. It tells me the new group. In Q, the largest jump is between 9,000 and 53,000, which means these 5 electrons are from the outermost shell. If there are 5 electrons in the outermost shell, you are going to be from what group? Group number 5, also known as group number 15. Yeah? So X is group 14, Z is group 2, and Q is group 15. 4, 2, and 5 outermost electrons. Alright, let's take a look at the next skill check. Alright, this one is about fluorine. So the first part says, write an equation to represent the fifth ionization energy of fluorine. And B says what? The first ionization energy of elements are given as 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 6, 37,000 and 47,000. And they're asking you to tell you which group does it belong to and explain your decision. So the fifth ionization energy, let's do the part A first, is when F4 plus becomes F5 plus electron, gas and gas. And for part B, first identify the largest jump, that is right there, which tells me that these 4 electrons are your outer electrons, which means this guy is in group number 4, now known as group 14. Okay? And they're saying explain your decision. The explanation is simply this, that there is a large jump between what? 4th and 5th ionization energies. What does that mean? It means that the 5th electron is from a shell closer to the nucleus, which means, therefore, what does that mean? Therefore, outer electrons, outer shell electrons equal 4. Therefore, group number 4. Yeah? Alright, let's move ahead. Alright, so let's take a look at this one. This is about element X. It's got, they're saying identify the group in which X occurs. They've given the first 7 ionization energies of X. They are 9,000, 950, 1,800, 2,700, 4,800, 6,000, 1,200, 12,000 and 15,000. So where is the largest jump in ionization energies here? It's right there between the 5th and the 6th. What does that tell you? It tells me that the first 5 electrons are from the outermost shell. That's what the largest jump is. So the first 5 electrons are in the outermost shell. These 5 right here. Yeah. So which means that this fellow is in what group? If there are 5 electrons in the outermost shell, this must be in group 5, also known as group 15. That's the new name for group 5. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at the next question. So in this question, there are 5 elements A, B, C, D, and E. And they're given some successive ionization energies and asked to find out which groups these are in. So in A, the largest jump is between the 3rd and the 4th, 3,000 and 25,000. In B, is between 1,400 and 7,000. In C, is between 400 and 3,000. Yeah. And in delta, it's between 7,000 and 13,000, all the way at the end. And in E, is between 6,000 and 12,000. Yeah. So those are the largest jumps in ionization energy for all of these guys. So that tells me that E has 5 electrons in the outermost shell, therefore group 15. D has 6 in the outermost shell, group 16. C has 1, group 1. B has 2, group 2. And A has 3 in the outermost shell, group 13. That's the idea. 3 outermost shell, group 3 or 13. 2 in the outermost shell, group 2. 1 in the outermost shell, 6 in the outermost shell, and 5 in the outermost shell. Alright, let's take a look at one more question. This one is skill check number 5. This is a table with the first 5 successive ionization energies of 4 different elements are given: W, X, Y, and Z. And so we have to answer the questions A, B, C, and D. But let's dissect the table first. Let's figure out where the largest jumps are, and then we can answer these parts. So let's find out the largest jump in ionization energies for W, X, Y, and Z. For W, the largest jump is between which 2 ionization energies? First and second. For X, that's between 4th and 5th. For Y is between 3rd and 4th. For Z is between 2nd and 3rd. That tells me W is group 1, X is group 4 or 14, Y is group 3 or 13, and Z is group 2. Now, using this data, let's answer the parts. So which element belongs to group 4? That's pretty easy. Group 4 or group 14? That's the new name is group 14, X. Which element form a simple ion with a charge of 2 plus? Well, that would be a group 2 ion. That makes 2 plus, right? And group 2 is Z. Part C, which element would have 1 electron in its outer energy level? That is a group 1 atom. So where's the group 1? Group 1 is right there, W. And which element form an oxide with the formula M2O3? Now M2O3 means M has what charge? M is 3 plus, which means it must be a group 3 or a group 13 element. And which is a group 3 or a group 13 element? That would be Y. Yeah. Alright, so that ends some of the questions we're looking at to find successive ionization energies. Yeah.
Hey there. If you found this A-level chemistry lesson helpful, why don't you head over to our website, altacademy.org, where you can sign up for the full A-level chemistry course. In addition to chemistry, you can sign up for physics, biology, math, or 4 other A-level subjects. Thousands of students have already taken the leap. What are you waiting for?